Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make a simple Batwing Kaftan dress. If this is what you like to learn, please watch to the end of this video. So here I folded my fabric into four. I folded the front part into two and the back part into two as well. So I have them folded into four all together, and I've ruled a line which is the start line, and the width of my fabric is about 22 inches, and from the length starting from the line I ruled as my shoulder line, I have about 44 inches. Okay, the total length of this dress is going to be 53 inches, but here I have about 44 inches, so I'm going to complete the length of this dress with a lace fabric. I'm also going to have this lace fabric attached to the sleeves as well. So the first thing I'm going to do now is on this line I marked out with the chalk. I'm going to measure half of the shoulder measurement I'm working with, which is 7.5 inches. So from this 7.5 inches, I'm going to measure out the length of the sleeve I want. So the total length of the sleeve I'm working with for this dress is 20 inches, but here I'm going to measure out 14.5 inches. 14 inches plus half inch for attaching the lace, because I'll be adding the lace to complete the length. So I have 14.5 inches extra added here. Then for the shoulder slope, I'm going to take 2.5 inches. So from the line I ruled, the shoulder line, I came down by 2.5 inches at the edge where I have my total measurements. Then for the neck width, I'm going to take 4 inches for my neck width, and I'm going to connect the shoulder, the 2.5 inches I came down by, to the 4 inches I've measured on the shoulder line. So this will be for the shoulder slope. So you can see how I've connected them. Now I'm going to take my sleeve opening. For my sleeve opening, from the shoulder slope, I'm going to impute half of the sleeve circumference at the length of 14 inches. So when I measure 14 inches length for my sleeve, the circumference I have there, I'm going to divide that into two. So I had 12 inches divided into two will give me 6. So to this 6 inches, I'm going to add half inch joining allowance. So from the shoulder slope, I'm going to measure down 6.5 inches. 6 inches is half of the sleeve opening at 14 inches length. Then from the shoulder line now, I'm going to measure a length of 28 inches. So this is how, where I want the batwing, the cowl part to start from. So I'm going to measure 28 inches. So you can measure any length from the shoulder to the hip. You can add any length you want. So for this person, I'm going to use 28 inches. You can decide to use the hip measurement. You can decide to use 30 inches, whatever or wherever you want the cowl part to start from. So I've ruled across this measurement, this 28 inches length I've measured. So you can see what I have, 28 inches. So on this line now, this 28 inches length, I'm going to impute quarter of the hip measurement. The hip measurement I'm working with is 49 inches. So quarter of that is 12.25 inches. And to that, I'm going to add ease. I'm adding 3 inches extra, 2.5 inches ease and half inch for sewing side joining allowance. Okay, so from the shoulder again, I'm going to measure the length. The total length I want on this Ankara fabric is 43 inches, and to that I'm going to add extra half inch, making it 43.5 inches for attaching the lace to the Ankara. Then I'm going to repeat the same measurement I had at the 28 inches length on the length of this Ankara, and I've connected them together. You can see how I connected them. Then using my free hand, I'm going to connect from the sleeve opening, the measurement for the sleeve opening, and I'm going to connect it down to the measurement on the 28 inches line as shown. So you can see how I connected them together. Now for the neckline, I've already taken a neck width of 4 inches. So for the back neck depth, I'm going to use 2 inches. So I'm using 4 inches by 2 inches for the back neckline. And for the front neckline, I'm using 4 inches by 4 inches. The neck width on the back and front are the same. Then the neck depth for the front is 4 inches, and I've connected. You can see I've made my curve for the both neckline. Then I'm also going to take ½ inch for joining the shoulder part together. So I'm taking ½ inch joining allowance and I'm going to rule this measurement. So after doing this, I've taken all measurements. I'm going to go ahead and cut out this piece. So while cutting, I'm going to cut the back neck line first. While they are together, I'm cutting the back neckline first, and then for the front neckline, I'm going to lift up the first part, and just cut out the neckline for the front. Only on the front piece are folded. So I've cut out everything. So like I said before, I'll be completing the length with the lace fabric. So I'm going to measure what I have at the hem of the Ankara, and I have 15.25 inches. So that will be the width of what I'm going to have on my lace fabric when unfold. So for the neckline, I'm going to tidy it up with a bias strip and also join them on the shoulder with the ½ inch seam allowance I left for it. So here I've cut out my lace fabric. I have them, the front folded into 2 and the back folded into 2. You can see that the width matches what I have on the Ankara piece. And for the length, I just did the total length of the dress, which is 53 inches minus 43 inches. That will give me 10 inches, and to that I added extra 1.5 inches, ½ inch joining allowance and 1 inch hemming allowance to hem the lower part of the lace fabric. So also to complete the sleeve, I'm going to use lace fabric. So I'll measure what I have from this line I have here. I'm going to measure down, and I have 6.5 inches. So that is what I would use to cut out the lace to complete the sleeves. So here I've turned the neckline with a bias strip. I've joined the shoulders together, right sides facing each other. That's how I place them and join them. And I've also attached the lace piece to complete the length. You can see I've attached them on both the front piece and on the back piece as well. So what I'm going to do now is to complete the length of my sleeve. The total length of the sleeve I'm working with here is 20 inches, and I already have 14 inches here. So I'm going to complete the length. So I'll measure what I have, the opening I have here, 6.5 on fold. So I have my lace fabric folded into 2, and I have a width of at least 6.5 inches. So at the top of the of this fabric, I'm going to measure 6.5 inches, which is what I measured on the Ankara, and the length I want to complete the 20 inches is 6 inches. So to 6 inches I added extra 1.5 inches, 1 inch for hemming the lower part and ½ inch for attaching to the Ankara piece. Then at this 7.5 inches line, I'm going to measure at the lower part. I'm going to measure half of the circumference I have at 20 inches when I measure the length of 20 inches, and that will give me 4.5 inches, and I added extra ½ inch joining allowance, and I'm connecting these 2 points together as you can see. So I'll go ahead and cut this and then place this on another lace fabric, which will be on fold also, to cut out the second piece for the other sleeve. So here to attach this lace part, I'm going to open up my dress. I'm opening it to the sleeve part. The right side is facing up. So I'm also going to open the sleeve. I'm going to pick one of the lace pieces I've cut, and I'll open it to the right side as well. You can see how I placed them right side to right side. So I'm going to place the right side facing each other, touching each other. I'm going to sew with ½ inch seam allowance. So I've joined them together using ½ inch seam allowance. So all I'm going to do now will be to hem the sleeve opening. So I'm going to hem the sleeve opening. So after hemming that, if yours is a scallop salvage and you don't need to hem it, but mine isn't, so I'm going to hem that part, and then I'm going to sew with ½ inch allowance. That's what I left for the seam allowance for this dress. I'm going to sew down ½ inch seam allowance to the end. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to sew with ½ inch seam allowance. So for the edge of the sleeve, you don't need to hem yours if you're using the scallop, if your lace has a scallop salvage end, and also for the hem of the length of the dress, you don't need to hem yours if you're using the scallop edge of a lace to do that, so you don't need to add the hemming allowance to that. So I've joined everything. I've closed up the sides so you can see what I have. I've closed up, you can see what I have, and I've also hemmed the lower part of the sleeve, so you can see how beautiful and easy it is to make this dress. This dress is actually a beginner friendly dress to make, so a beginner can actually make this. So you can see everything I've done, everything. And also what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this accessory to decorate the neckline, the front neckline. I'm going to use needle and thread to tack this to the neckline. So that's it for how to make this beautiful and simple kaftan dress. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it, and I really want to appreciate all returning subscribers. And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please click on the subscribe button now to subscribe. I'll be dropping a link to a playlist where I have different styles on kimono, cowl, kaftan, and cowl bubus in the description box. Please check that out. You might see something you like or you're interested in. Thank you for watching, and bye.